Hey everyone, this video features some conversation highlights from a new stream segment I started with my friend Remmy, where every Monday we play together, talk together, and just have chat along for the ride with us. That's pretty much it. Hope you enjoy, and remember to keep on holding in your pee, because it's still January. I am so bad at these intros. Like, I'm not super strict on unbans, like, I'm down to unban people. The thing is, people just lie about why they're banned. And so I'm like, alright, well, if you're not gonna, if you're just gonna lie, then...
Though, because you can just check. This guy, I was in another chat, and this guy's like, Remy, I don't know why I'm banned from your chat. And I'm like, okay. This is the reason I check my unban requests, because I usually actually don't do this, I don't have that many. So I check it, and it's the last message is literally a slur, and I'm like,
yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, there's a reason. I think, like, I don't know how you don't know why you're banned.
Yeah, there's two things, like people spamming slurs and then people spamming ban me, and then they get banned, and then they message a mod, they're like, oh, why was I banned? What happened? I don't even know. And they have one message and it just says ban me. Like, what do you think's gonna happen? I think people sometimes have like a misunderstanding of what like a community is, of like what it happens on Twitter too. When people get blocked on Twitter and they're like, they take it as a personal offense to like them. But it's more like, that's not really what it is. It's just that this person, like, it's their space, you know? In real life, if they don't want to hang out with you, they don't have to. So it's the same thing online. Like, it's nothing against you as a person. It's just like, given that it's your community and like your stream and your space or your Twitter or your Facebook or whatever it is, you can choose who you want to hang out with and who you want to spend time with. And so like, maybe it's just not these certain people. And it's nothing against the certain people a lot of the time. It's just, you know, not everyone is a match. But I think often people take it as like a personal affront to their character when someone bans them in a Twitch chat. It's like, man, this person, they think they're better than me, they ban me. And I think a lot of that does come from the parasocial relationship stuff. Because it's like, if you think this person is your friend, or if you like associate that like you have a relationship with this person, and then they ban you, it hurts a lot more than if it's a stranger banning you, you know?
I don't even like comprehend anything. I just scroll through because I have nothing else to be doing. It's addicting, but not for the reasons I ever thought it would be for. For me, I just like scroll through because, and then you realize that you literally have nothing else to do.
But it also creates the habit where you feel like you need to scroll when you have nothing to do. It's like, oh, I have nothing to do, let me start scrolling. It starts planting that idea in your head. I feel like some of the trap though is that in those times, I mean sometimes it is true that you just have nothing to do, but in those times often you do have things to do, it's just they don't come to mind, and what does come to mind is TikTok.
I feel like for me specifically though, I'm sure I have nothing to do because it's like 3 a.m. and then all my other friends have gone to bed because even though all our sleep schedules are bad, I'm the only one sleeping at like 10 a.m. rather than 3. So I like consider everything I could do. I can't play Brawl to make a video at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I hate League of Legends. I will just like scroll while talking to people because I'll usually like still be in VC or something and hold a conversation.
That's what I mean though, like for those to be the options is itself like an option, you know what I mean? Because there's things like working out, there's things like reading, there's a lot of things, but our default is just based on the virtual world. When I was younger, the only thing that would really not make me not bored was like either sports or games. And so I used to think like, wow, cavemen must have been so bored before the invention of video games. People must have been so bored all the time. But I don't think that's true. I think people have always found ways to entertain themselves. It's just now we have so many more outlets to be distracted that that we don't let ourselves have it. Do you talk to people and call every day?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
If I didn't talk to people, I'd probably get worse than I am. So. I
see. I need to be more forward with wanting to talk to people, but I also feel like I just can't hold conversation. Like with you, I just feel comfortable. Like I don't feel like we need to talk all the time. Even just like chilling, sitting in the voice call is fine. But with other people, I almost feel obligated to fill the silence, which shouldn't be the case. But
I mean, I feel like I naturally fill the silence. Like I always, if I go too long without saying something, I go, oh, just say something, and then I just say something.
Like, I feel like I can say things or I can hold a conversation about certain topics, but I just don't, my brain starts freezing and I just can't think about anything when I talk to people. I just get so anxious.
I feel like I have to talk to someone every day or else it's just that day was just a bad day, or I didn't accomplish anything in that day.
Yeah, I need to do that more. Most days I never talk to anybody.
I don't know if it's because I of streaming or something or whatever, or just because like, haha, internet, I can do whatever I want. But I'm like very, very extremely comfortable talking to people I don't know.
Oh,
Like
I'm not at all.
I don't care.
I get
Like
so
I'll
anxious.
just like talk like I know them, or like they care about what I'm talking about.
You're one of like
No.
3 people that I can talk to without feeling really anxious.
Talking is just like natural. I talk a lot.
Yeah, but I mean like you're also really fun to talk to, which I think makes the other person also feel good about it.
Not to mention I can do that in Brawlhalla.
True! What I'm describing is why I wanted to start these Mondays. Because I realized I just like wasn't speaking to anybody. And I wanted to hang out with you.
People like always forget or don't know that I don't play games and I didn't play games.
Yeah,
growing up.
me neither.
Like yesterday, I asked Boomy, I was like, what did you want to be before? Like, it's like a basic question, especially for how long we've been friends.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, what did you want to be before? Like, if Brawl didn't happen, what would you be trying to accomplish now? Or like, what did you want to be before that? And he's like, no, this is it. And I was like, oh.
What's the answer for you?
I would have like kept trying really hard in school, like I was doing. Like when you asked me like what my job was as a kid, I'd be like, I want to be a lawyer or a doctor, but I decided that this was way more fun.
Do you think creating a daily habit or activity such as drawing can help to be more productive and organized? Yeah. Having daily habits that are creative is good. The thing is though, daily habits are so hard. There's a reason why New Year's resolutions die after 2 weeks. Like 90% of New Year's resolutions die after 2 weeks because maintaining new habits is very hard because you're fighting against your programming. The way our brains have evolved is to do what works because what works has kept us alive, and that's the only thing that's important, is to stay alive and then reproduce. For our brains. I mean, not the only thing that's important, but that's like most important. It's literally an entire part of our brain that is dedicated to doing the same things all the time. If you think about that like that's crazy, right? That's why it's so hard to form new habits, because there's parts of our brain that literally developed to do the same things every day. What was
Things
that?
like New Year's resolutions are so weird to me, because if you're trying to better yourself, why are you like scheduling when you will start bettering yourself? Because resolutions are like usually like something serious or like something that can just be done at any point.
Well,
so
that's
I don't
the thing
understand
though.
why you wouldn't just like do it.
Because it can be done at any point, you never do it. And so like just starting at one day, because no matter what you do, one day will be the first day that you do it. And so like having like a set date for people to just start doing it is helpful a lot of the time. But yeah, what tends to happen with habits is that people fail at their new habit, which is totally understandable. You know, I do that a lot. It's so much easier to fail than it is to succeed. But then after you fail, you feel like a failure, and you feel like you've done nothing of value, and like you didn't get the habit, and so it's not worth continuing. And then you don't do it anymore. But the thing is that it's not that you didn't do anything, it's that you did something for 3 days, and then you can pick it back up. And those 3 days that you did it aren't worthless. But what tends to happen is we judge ourselves really, really hard for missing those 3 days. And then we don't do it anymore. So what I would say when you're trying to get a new habit to draw every day, just try to draw today. And then tomorrow, try to draw tomorrow. And if you miss a day, that's fine. You'll get it the next day, you know? Take it one day at a time. Don't try and draw every day for a month. That's gonna be way too intimidating and way too hard. Try to draw one day.
I always like just wish like I could see inside people's heads or like think about the same thing as them, which is like why I want to do psychology, and then I'm like, probably not, because everyone tells me not to. Well, not everyone. My entire like family just tells me not to.
I think you can get that without psychology. I think psychology gives a lot of vocabulary to it, but I think you can get that without psychology. Like, you get that just by listening to people. Like, me hearing about your story about the video games you grew up with and, like, how you chose it, I mean, that gives me a window into your mind, right?
Obviously, I can just ask about it, but I just, like, wish I could, like, literally, like, understand myself, like, oh, why do they think, or, like...
Oh, why do I do, like, these things and stuff like that?
Yeah, because, like, I'll go, like, to a lot of stuff, and I'm like, what you just said, right? Like, just take it one day at a time. I'll just be like, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not that deep, right? But to some people, it is that deep.
Right.
So it's, like, it's not just, like, yeah, I've decided that I'm able to just do whatever all the time. It just doesn't matter. But not everyone is like that, and I just like to think why, or like what do they see it as. If I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this today, I just go do it, right? But for some people it's hard. They want to do it that day, and then it's hard for them to do it that day.
Yeah, fighting against your brain is hard when you feel like you're not in control. But I think you're a very, very unique person, especially like for our age group, because I think that you're not weighed down by a lot of things that most people are weighed down by. And I think sometimes that can make it hard to relate, or hard to, I guess, understand. But I think that like you can get that. I also think that's one of your biggest strengths, is that you have a very strong like foundation and constitution. And you're not, it's like hard to bend your will, you know what I mean? Me, as like complete contrast, I'm very like bendable. Yeah. And that's, I think, a huge strength and a huge weakness.
I mean, it makes you more open to a lot of things.
Right, yeah. It also makes me more vulnerable to a lot of things. I think that tends to be how we work. Like, I think our biggest strengths are also our biggest drawbacks. Just depends on the context.
Yeah. I don't like phase through things, and like, but it also makes me not understand what some other people are going through, or like comprehend it.
Yeah, like it may make you a little jaded. Like this person is going through a rough time.
Yeah,
And you're
it's
just like,
like
just snap out of it. It's just so like.
Yeah, it's like why are you sad?
It's irrational. Just what are you doing? Just yeah.
I think I talked about it a lot. Like, what I felt sad that I wasn't sad, and I was like, I definitely should be sad here, but I'm just like, okay.
Right, and I think that kind of gets to the root of it, which is that should is the reason why you're sad. You're not sad because you're sad. You're sad because you feel like, based on what other people experience, that you're like different.
Because it's I feel like it's like abnormal for me to not be upset. Like, why are you just okay?
But maybe it is normal for you to be upset, or not be upset. I think that should is what traps a lot of people a lot of the time too. It's like, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Look at all these other people and how they respond to this situation. Why am I not like them? Why am I just so weak that I can't be like them? But I think a lot of the time it takes like looking at yourself and looking just at who you are, and the fact that you're different than not most people, you're different from everyone. Like for some situations, having someone like you in someone's life, like as a friend, is phenomenal, because you offer that rational, unclouded, unfiltered.
Just like look at it realistically.
Exactly, yeah. And sometimes that's really what people need. Other times, I just raw side sig. Other times people need to get the more emotional side, and you might not be able to offer that, I guess, as comfortably as someone else, but again, like that's something that you can also gain over time, I think. But like, not everyone needs everything all the time. So like for me, I think a lot of the time, because despite being like very emotionally driven, I also am very highly rational. I think about all different outcomes, and I'm pretty realistic with things as well. But I'm the type of person that, because I can understand things rationally, I would need that emotional support rather than logical support in those situations. Should I pull it out?
If you don't, I will. Oh, wow.
Oh my god! We're in sync!
After a deep conversation, you just double pull up the patch.